all the way to number 5, but even if you lose it, then you're gonna have a dance with Atlanta with that third seed locked in. So I think for Optic Texas, they did everything they needed to do when you looked at the maps and the modes. They got a combined 11-1 record in all the respawns. It's just a search and destroy, which has been a struggle for them recently. The only victory that they have is a round 11 Hacienda, where we saw what Kenny was able to do. Other than that, they would have lost 5 S&Es back to back to back to back to back. But they have their respawns where they have been probably the best respawn team in the game.
Absolutely the case. Their plus-minus differential over the last month has been unbelievable, but even on the season for Optic, they typically are winning by about 50 points on average. That total goes higher when they play on vault closer to 60. So let's take a look. Toronto Ultra flawless in the qualifying stage. Only one loss so far this season. That was to Minnesota in a very dramatic reverse sweep, map 5. But here we go. Vault Hardpoint. Let's get it out.
Yeah, it's already into the mix. You had Hook set up with a proper pinch for an easy double. Optic good at like micromanaging these kind of moments where they know that the skill wands are scattered. SMGs are going to be picking up those proper angles, but Ultra are able to fly their way on in with Beans whipping out a submachine gun early into that P1.
Tempo, tempo, tempo. That's the name of the game for sure for Toronto and their hard points. That's why they often have preferred some of the more tighter, smaller maps. But Optic, great response. Soon as we start to get that breakthrough P1, immediately met with the same resistance from Optic. Now looking over towards P2, but Joe deceives. Beats Texas to the punch. He's going to get here first. There will be a player in Dashy to kind of block, if not own a little bit of the spawns, but Toronto is on the hunt.
Yeah, Dashy just needs to take this time, and if you can find a kill, even better. Now you have to put focus onto Dashy. We have to take him out of this position, but you're giving up with a front pressure. Here comes Optic Texas right through the front door. Hook and Shotzi combined for 2. Eventually Dashy falls, but even with Ultra spawning in towards the back, Optic had them trapped.
Yeah, Dashy actually spawns up mid-map, so he's able to stop the spawners for Ultra from reinforcing around the back. Really good awareness from Dashy. And for Optic Texas, from inside the hard point, knowing that they're going to be challenged from the back door, leads to clean eliminations. Up to a 30-9 game. Insight in the rest of Ultra, trying to hit from the front, but already being met with resistance. The ARs are watching these crosses like hawks.
Yeah, they are getting cut down. Ultra, one by one, all falling like dominoes, and Dashy's able to find himself now on 5 in a row. He knows that sometimes the spawns can get a little iffy, but not a single player from his team has found success in the kill column. Finally, Kenny finds one. There he is with the trade onto Kleenex. Fortunately, does not earn himself the Hellstorm, but Kenny in a position to win a rotation anew.
Yeah, this is one of those things that you start to feel where Optic have improved in Hardpoint. It's on their hold efficiency, not just their hold percentage, but how many points they're getting when they do win a rotation and set up for a hold. They're one of the best teams in the game at doing that right now. We're even seeing it happen over the top of P3. Shotzi up and over through the hole in the vault. Doesn't quite track down Joe Deceives, who had just passed him, but Hook is watching the cross. Shots are out, but kill's not there. Shotzi has to come back to the play. Now with a pistol fight with Joe, able to get to 5 in a row, and Shotzi can now take his attention to the hill.
And Ultra need to stop the bleeding, and they need to stop it quickly. Just gotta be able to win a couple gunfights. 6 in a row now for Shotzi, as his teammates been able to control the spawns over towards New. Ultra, I know that we watched them last week going up against the Gorilla mates on this map. They were a lot better in their rotation. So far, they have yet to win a single one. And now they need to break into one of the more difficult hills here at P4.
Yeah. Thing is, P4 has not opened yet, so every kill that starts to come out will have either of these two teams spawning behind, but doesn't make a difference. Dashy uses that as a chance to pinch up the street, and well, for Ultra, they get completely canceled on the rotation over through Art. Beans alive, but found by Shotzi, and yeah, it's just, you want to talk about a green wall, it's a green circle around this hard point right now.
And you can just tell that the communication is on point for Optic Texas. They found 3 kills early off that rotation and knew that they were trying to locate where the last player was. So where's Beans? Where's Beans? Okay, we take care of him. Everyone now off the respawn, as Optic Texas are continuously running up the score. 30 seconds still to fight for here at P4. One player in a position to make a play.
Wow.
Kleenex was the one-on-one, but for how long?
Yeah, Shotzi just finessing over through square. I mean, he gets 3 top balcony. He also, well, knew that Joe Deceives was playing through pool, just kind of lost track of him on the reach out. But still, we're talking about a 100-point game. We're just through the first set of rotations, not even actually, and it's just the ARs are beaming. Shotzi also on 14 and 5. Kenny's just got his feet up, my guy. I mean, he's 8 and 7, just hanging out around the hard point.
Hey, you just cool it if you're Ken. Everybody else in your team are firing on all cylinders. Hook has been running this AR pretty consistent so far throughout the entirety of this map. Kenny opens up with a double, and that's going to give Optic Texas the numbers to easily lead to a break. Another clean for that. Ultra, where are you?
Yeah, I'll say. You got 3 and 13 from Beans. He hasn't loaded into the map yet. Kleenex seen on this pinch attempt. Kenny just avoids it, just goes back into the hard point. Damage to Joe, but can't confirm the kill. Shotzi and Dashy trying to work this together from the backside of the hill, and it will be Toronto to clean things up. One more player to find, that's Hook. And Hook, a little beamer on him, but can't take the better part of Insight. Kenny, though, off the sub from his last respawn. He can watch the cross. Knows he's got a second player nearby, but Beans will find the kill, and Toronto will have numbers to get in the hill.
Yeah, and now if you are Toronto, you need these kills to go your way because you need to try to chain it over towards these P2s.
Yes.
Kleenex effective on the trade. There is one player from Optic Texas who was blessed with that gold spawn, and it is going to be Dashy. Another opportunity to fight for the back. This time he's cleaned up immediately. So Ultra winning the rotation over towards New, but there's players all around from Optic Texas.
Yeah, Beans gets a read that there is a close spawn for Optic. Insight has to keep his head in a swivel. Has to worry about the front and as well the back at the same time. Good clean kill from Kleenex. Insight does confirm another one from the pinch. It's just down to can he take care of Dashy in the back. Lots of damage tallied. Insight not exactly comfortable inside the hard point right now. Gets a frag grenade over to the back door while the rest of his teammates are trying to flood from the front, but Optic have a chance here to try to rewrap this hard point. Beans a nice job from the front, and there you go. Toronto finally starting to click.
Finally, they were able to trap Optic Texas towards the backside. Make sure they stayed aggressive through the middle of the map, and just keeping Inside alive was everything that they needed to have there in that moment. Still 20 seconds here at P2. Optic have so much of a lead that players are just going to decide to hit that early rotation. As Kenny again finding himself off towards that art area. As Ultra have fought their way back into this game with basically a full 60 hold there.
Yeah, and a lot of that is Beans is waking up here. 10 and 15 now. Getting closer to even. Nice shots, trying to follow up the double onto Hook. Not going to happen, but Joe Deceives and the rest of Ultra from the interior of this hard point looking pretty decent to at least find a couple eliminations and get them some more time. So what was a 100-point game? It's just down to about 40. Optic split spawn, though, has a chance to pinch.
And they're already finding all the kills in the feed. They know where the last two players are. Beans is taken care of. Kleenex is roaming around that middle of the map. So you don't want to allow him to get lost and be the game changer as he finds the first, not able to lead to the second, but Ultra still trying to fight.
They're cooking. They're finding the kills they need. A chance to rotate here through P3. And with that, we'll step aside to take a listen into the Toronto Ultra comps.
Dashy, top goal.
I'm there.
Top goal.
Watch on top, boys.
Oh, good. He could have pushed it there.
Hit me mid. Oh, yeah. He can charge. Close up, Luke. On that. And, doing top. Oh, sorry.
Find a break here. Right, he's pushed that tree.
Yeah.
Alright, so one mid, or right side time. Ken.
Hang up.
Oh,
Nice shit. Go, bro.
Alright, take our time.
Top goal. Dashy just out.
Big ass break here. Top goal.
He's in plants, bro. Plants was a lie.
Oh, that's it. Capital. Please stop.
I see plans race. Top goal.
Top goal.
I can't go.
Shoot the box on that.
Go weak. Good. Top goal, Dashy. I'm 3 times.
That's too back. This one's gaff.
top goal.
Two back.
Fine.
Dashy's top goal. 2 out left.
Front line, absolute line.
I can fix fine. I'm just line. I'm
Slide close in down.
Oh, he didn't plant. What the fuck is single? Go single, boys.
Sit back arch.
Dead single. Good call.
Nice. Top goal, not shine. What's the top goal?
Deep gaff as well.
Mid, boys.
Back scaff. High left, back scaff.
Back door, bro. Ken.
Statue.
On time.
I can't. He's on the ledge. Back right ledge.
Cap door. Chelsea, weak right.
Back right left.
I mean, go on.
Let's respond here.
Kali, yeah.
Back to winnable.
I have your cat, Jeremy, okay?
Here.
With that. Push on deep right.
I could have spawned back.
Truck out. Ken, absolute shot to me.
Shot to in lobby, Jeremy.
And that bollocks, bro. Absolute on the truck.
Take a time.
5 seconds.
I've got pins for our single.
Our single.
Take left cross.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to get
You're
it.
gonna push out left.
Could be close to turbo trucks though.
We've been bugged.
Sim truck. Could be catching on it.
One shot.
I'm time
Get
that.
steps.
Left. I'm gonna now.
Hello with Kyler.
Kenny. Or Dove, maybe?
Yeah, missed it.
Get steps.
Nice. In the mid. Nice. One shot. Probably Dove. He's vault. Just lick it.
I'm just getting time
We shot
though.
him.
Naded.
Oh, vault. Dead.
I should be catching. Okay.
Get steps to me. Dead.
I have a pinch, boys.
Oh,
All you, bro.
Shion.
Right, in close, man.
I'm
Lane close.
I'm trying to get
Sit down.
No, we can catch.
Top house.
Good camera, bro.
He's front house.
You go left.
You know what? No idea.
I have con. One more con. Dead.
Work out.
Oh shit. I can get cat in a sec. I'm sorry.
Once weak lobby. Hit with nade. Left
That's
side.
ran away. You went there.
He was weak.
They might spawn out, bro.
Yeah, He's front house. One shot the front house.
Where'd he go?
Come close,
He's
Sean.
front house. I think he's in house. He's playing his life.
He went top. He went top house.
Happy time, yep.
No, front 7.
He's open side.
Kenny's somewhere house, bro.
I still my lobby.
Sun lobby again.
I'm one shot.
Yeah, P4 just continued to be an Ultra issue, but that told P2 rotational win, trying to come through once again as we open up the hard point, but these gunfights are massive, and Beans just completely overwhelmed. Optic are gonna have the numbers here, P2 first, Jay.
Yeah, how do we allow Shotzzy to just push his way through the backside of your base and then continuously make the play, flanks the player on towards the point, secures the spawns for his team. Optic can no longer win it here at P2. I thought Ultra were gonna have back-to-back rotations one here at P2, but they instantly just get finessed on out. Now you have to break through the front. 30 seconds to go. You need gunfights to go your way.
Not looking good. A little back and forth here late into P2. Have to jump on and contest. Jodeci's able to force that forward for a double, and there'll be some scrap time, but yeah, here's the issue. You've got Optic kind of spawning in a bad spot behind P2, but they can use the Hellstorm to get out. Plus, there may be an opportunity for Dashy and Hook to just kind of duo up and try to break some of this finesse exit time. Not quite able to do so, but lots of information. Sachi trying to follow up, but no, actually, all that told, Ultra kind of successfully get out of P2, and they do get insight spawning behind Kenny here at top. Art should be dealt with pretty quickly, and that might lead to an opportunity for Ultra.
That's what Optic did last go around, was to fight that P2 all the way to the very end, just keep the focus on that side of the map to allow Kenny to freely rotate over towards Art. He was only able to get one, but instantly traded. Ultra now have an opportunity to keep themselves in this game and potentially take the lead. You just got to win these fights for the next 30 seconds because you need this P4 to go your way.
Yeah, look at the long route, though, being hit by Hook. No one sees him on that crossing route, so all these eliminations from the front plus Hook trying to move around the back could be the game-winning play here. Yeah, one down low. Shots don't land, though. Now Hook's in a little bit of trouble. There are two Ultra members that are here. Kleenex able to force him out, but again, the time on the hard point is really critically important here, especially for Ultra, just trying to keep Texas out of the hill, but they're not able to, and Optic's only going to need a couple of points to win this map.
Yeah, the good thing for Ultra is that Optic Texas can't win it here at P3. We know that if we set up properly in towards the P4, we're going to have a good chance of at least having the duel off in towards P1. Jodeci starts it off, sitting towards top art, is able to find a double. The player on the pinch does get red. Optic effective on the traits under the 2v2, but Ultra still securing the back spawns, so it allowed him to keep soaking up this hill.
Kleenex good for one, slides away, but can't survive. Dashy player also on the backside of this pitch from Shotzzy. It's going to have to be Jodeci. He's got to do it all. Spawns are out. Optic are in, and they are going to take the vault. They're going to stay flawless here, too, Jay. I mean, it has been convincing result after convincing result for Optic on Vault Hardpoint.
Yeah, I think the issues for Toronto Ultra were the same issues that they had last week. It was just all about those rotations. They only won one rotation that entire map, and that was to the P2 where they were able to drop Optic Texas toward the backside. But with just the ideal, perfect start there from Optic Texas, you're able to set up, fight those remaining junk time. The P3 to P4 chain was absolutely phenomenal. But then, like I said, with them just having the lead the way that they did early into the game, that's what you allow players to now sneak out, hit those certain routes, block certain spawns. The game's just a lot easier when you dominate like the way that you did. Optic Texas secure the first map.
Yeah, I mean, look at the stat lines. I mean, almost everybody breaks past 30 eliminations for Optic. The non-traded kill percentages are also super high. And we already kind of mentioned a couple of slow starts. Beans in particular, slow start, insight, second rotation, not really able to get things going at certain moments in time. And it's just Optic controlling tempo and pace the entire way through. I mean, legitimately, like you said, it's every rotation. Optic are making the right calls, the right reads. When they've got numbers, someone's hitting a long route or hitting a pinch. It's just, they're all over the map at all points in time. And the way this map started, it just felt like Toronto Ultra couldn't do anything past P2.
Yeah, the guns weren't hot early into the game. Obviously, we saw Ultra start to turn up in the middle half once you got to the second rotation of HPs. It was just too much of a lead for Optic Texas to throw away. You had Shotzzy going 6-free, you had Dashy going on 6-free, Hook hitting deep routes with that AR. And then just Kenny thinking about the fundamentals. Don't worry, guys. Got my feet kicked up. I'm already at the new hill with 25 seconds. Just a very easy game there for Optic Texas. I said it before this series. They were combined 11-1 in all the respawns in this best of 5. Now 12-1. Still undefeated on ball.
Yeah, and the flexibility out of Hook really coming to shine. You know, right off the get-go, AR in hand for a number of rotations. Very successful with it. Definitely leads to, again, like a tempo change that, like, it didn't really feel like Ultra were expecting in a certain way. Like, Beans is getting absolutely overwhelmed, trying to run through the map, but met with 3 ARs instead of just your normal 2. It just never really looked like Ultra could do much outside of, again, you look at it right there, that one spike, P1 to P2, the first time we were there, or second time, rather, that we were there. It's just off to the races early, and a gap that was just unachievable to bring back established by Optic with that near 100-point gap before we got into the second set of hills. So great start for Optic, but there is a level of maybe expectation for that, Jay, especially considering the dominance that they've showcased on the map. And now we get to kind of tell the story the other way, where this Toronto team, who is still one of the best, if not the best team in Search and Destroy right now based on the statistics, are also going to their strongest search map. So a chance for Ultra to try to right their wrongs from map 1 here.
Yeah, they need to right their wrongs here because you need to be able to respond, especially with that Vol control sitting nice and comfy for Optic Texas in map number 3. And I think you stand a good chance if you're Ultra because, like you said, the best search and destroy team that we have in the entire league. An 11-2 overall record with only 2 losses, falling on a map that's not in this best of 5. Every other search and destroy, they are sitting comfortably undefeated. Even Skyline, where they have yet to get a rep on it. So this red card needs to be the response. And the way that they're able to do it is usually through the defensive side. They're probably undefeated on that side with only 2 round losses. Unbelievable when you talk about that first blood fights. And then usually whenever they find that first blood, conversion rate is basically unstoppable. So Ultra, they know what they need to do. Find success in the first bloods. On the opposite side for Optic Texas, we saw them recently versus LAT, and it was about the battle of the first bloods. They only found 3 compared to 6. You lose the map 6-3. So Optic Texas need to show a little bit of a difference in their S&D game plan, especially going into this major.
Yeah, agreed. And, you know, again, just to try to take the macro focus into the individual players, you've got some high-ranking statistics going across here for Ultra. Everyone is over a 1.15 overall search and destroy KD, which is unbelievable. But these 2 guys in particular, Beans and Joe Deceives, rank this month in the top 3 across the league. So, again, it's one of those situations that you call it, like, outside of Hacienda, this team has been clicking when it comes to the search, the maps 2, and really we haven't seen them play too many map 5s, but a couple here and there. They have a lot of confidence being built, I think, for Ultra, kind of guaranteeing an early map win in a lot of regards. Again, starting off the season flawlessly until they were kind of in a mix where they were playing up against Minnesota Rocker. Again, at the minor, they had that reverse sweep go against them, and they also split the search and destroys when they played each other in the qualifier. But really outside of that and outside of search and destroy and Hacienda, this team has been perfect. So we'll see if Optic can kind of rise to the occasion here on a red card where they're no slouches. They've definitely given this a go, especially recently. I think people are going to look back to that Thieves series. It was maybe over before they could get things going, but we've seen this team have some success on this map as well.
Yeah, they're sitting at an overall 2-2 record, but everything is all about Ultra on this map. I think if you're Optic Texas, though, your key to victory is to try to find some success on your attacking routes, because that on the opposing end for Ultra, they're just way too good at defense. You talk about retaking, not allowing bombs to get planted. So a little bit of success on attack might get it done for you here as we hop into this map number 2. Ultra going to be the team to start off on the attack, and everyone just thinking about the slow and steady approach.
Yeah, this is Ultra really not showing force at mid. They're just trying to look through the windows at Ticket to see if anyone tries to push at them. So Kleenex and Joe Deceives, the 2 SMGs, just kind of making sure no one pushes early. And now they're going to start to show some force over towards B. Beans will be on an island watching for any long rotations from A, but this is all about what angle does Ultra want to try to approach this site.
And they potentially might be able to catch an angle onto Kenny to isolate him. Beans not able to spot him. But finally, the info is going to be gained. Kenny at 74 HP. He knows that he is stuck. Can his teammates try to help him get out?
He avoids the Semtex, gets the regen, and yes, has salvation on the backside of the A site. Ultra still trying to push this forward. They do catch Kenny, repositioning up towards the concourse. So Deceives tagged up, but Kleenex able to deny Dashy a chance to play from high ground. So now it's just down to, can they cover onto Shotzi? Playing by the backside of the goal, he finds one, but turns to find Kleenex waiting for him. And now it's just down to a 1v3 Hook on the other side of the map.
Yeah, only has a Semtex in the back pocket. Bomb is going to get planted. 1v3 for the nuke. So at least gains info onto 1, but that shows they're good enough to just back out, play your life.
Yep. And there's still a clutch up position being held by Insight for now. Off the regen. Next one up would likely be Beans. Hook trying to bait the glass. And Insight, I don't think he's seen him, but it may not make much of a difference because Hook is going to get caught in no man's land here. Or will he? Clean shots over to 1. Insight just trying to play the long range angle. I believe he's seen Hook in some regard, and that's the clock going to expire on this play. Hook will find all 3 eliminations, but Ultra will catch the round.
Yeah, and that's a perfect round right there from Ultra. They take it slow. They see what Optic are going to throw at them, and then Just the info gained, they're able to isolate onto Kenny. I thought Kenny played it great, just getting out with his life, but then the repositioning over towards Hedge, and that's due to the fact of all the pressure that now came in over towards that A site. You're forcing Optic Texas to change their defensive look. Someone was just watching mid. You now got to go assist Kenny on the left side, so that mid is open. CleanX is able to take advantage of it after that first blood comes in. That leads to Ultra in the 1v3, even though it turns into a one-on-one, basically guaranteeing the round there. Now they go on defense.
Even split across the map. You got Insight watching through mid. Beans is going to play forward here. CleanX also going to show a little bit of an elbow over towards stage. This is a pretty aggressive setup around A. CleanX now all of a sudden does get isolated though. So first blood tallied for Optic, and Shotzi's still waiting, just trying to see if he can catch any information on any other defenders over towards the A side of the map.
I'm pretty sure they threw their stuns and their nades over the top, and they realized, okay, there was a trophy at least blocking us, so someone has to be in the vicinity. You're able to locate Beans at the same time. Insight falls, so Joe deceives. Your opportunity for a 1v3, and Optic Texas able to pick them apart. Early responses on the attack is what they need to do. At least tie the game up at 1 for now.
Yeah, I love it. It's a different setup, I would say, from what we're usually able to kind of tally for Ultra. I feel like they don't like to play super aggressively until they catch information on where the hit's coming from, but Optic just kind of take a beat. You call out the trophy awareness very nicely as well, and I think it's just important that I don't know if they saw the elbow of the defender from Ultra who was playing on stage, but that's where they get their first blood. And then once you lose that low ground, someone at mid has to try to rotate in, and that's where they catch Beans. So great timing for Optic, taking advantage of the first blood, and we swap the sides again.
Now back over to the offense this time for Ultra. A lot more aggressive over towards Hedge. Dashy's able to get the better of Beans for the early first blood, but CleanX gonna try to make up for it.
Yeah, he's seen Kenny. He's on the hunt. Can't find him though, and wow. Kenny's just avoided him completely. And I'm sure you're sitting there, and CleanX is like, well, I don't know where to go now, and all of a sudden Kenny's on Hedge. CleanX will come back to the play, tally up 1, but there are still just too many Optic defenders to find. And that leaves Insight now by himself, 1v3, playing from an interesting position, kind of back mid-glass, but with no bomb and a lot of kills that need to come through. This is feeling like a round he needs to find a kill or two before he can really make a move on this 1v3.
And he's seemingly going to be able to isolate onto Dashy. The timing good enough to hit the door bus and almost gets turned on. But 13 HP in a dream, still alive. He's just going to walk right into another player from Optic Texas as they will set up perfectly on that defense. Another first blood, this time from Dashy. Give them early numbers advantage, and then CleanX gets nothing done when he was able to slip behind enemy lines. Easy round there for Optic.
Yeah, and I think a lot of that is, again, a lot of focus through mid. Just straight up, Hedges has been really where Optic have found a lot of their success. Obviously, the first bloods have come by way of either playing it over towards stage or here at Hedge initially. But all 3 of their setups that we've seen so far have largely been revolving around, can we isolate on towards these staircases at mid? Instead of trying to play through ticket, instead of trying to play up top of glass, it's been a lot of focus on winning the exterior right outside those main doors. So let's see if that continues to be the case once again. Kenny with the bomb. Shotzi looking to see if you can count the nades over the top, but Ultra are playing all on the interior towards B as an RCXD is already called in for Hook.
Yeah, and Dashy already gained that info. He said, wait, there's multiple players pushing me out towards B side, so we can push right up through stage and get this bomb down for free. Now it's going to be a 4v4 retake opportunity here for Ultra. They are second overall on this map. Let's see why.
The retake percentage is also really strong in this map as well, but this is going to feel very different. 4v4, having to reclaim every bit of ground. Kenny opening shots. Dashy on a cross. Shotzi in the corner. Nice turn from CleanX, but you can only do so much damage, and now there's a crossfire to keep Shotzi safe. Oh my goodness, just absolutely unfolded on this retake attempt. Beans last one left. Do as he may. Not going to be able to do too much, you would think. Lots of damage, but there's just too many players to deal with, and Optic are running away with this map right now.
Man, they are just gaining that info and instantly making a response to it. Dashy peeks up towards the top side of Godhead. He says, wait. There's way too many viewers here. You guys push right up through stage. You're able to get the bomb down. And then off the rotation. Ultra usually are phenomenal off the retake situation. It's just a lot more difficult to do it at that A site with no map control in your favor. As Shotzi opens up with the first blood, it's now 3 in favor of Optic Texas off the back-to-back rounds. And so far, that has been the difference maker.
3-1 split here through Eskies. Ultra looking to play largely, you would think, off this information at ticket. I mean, Optic really haven't shown much interest of playing from this position. And yeah, once again, look, Shotzzy playing far forward. Kenny on an angle to just walk over the top of the statue. And Joe with an SMG really can't do anything. And look at the ground that Shotzi's taking. If he gets any information on a hit towards B, he'll quickly be on the pinch.
Yeah, but the same ground that Shotzi's taking is the same thing Kleenex on the opposing side.
Yeah.
Should be able to line up this freebie onto Hook. Doesn't really know if he wants to commit on the gunfight, but he just wants to try to clear out this A-bomb for his teammates. Beans again is going to fall short for the first death. Shotzi with the instant response. Another 4v2 for Ultra.
Yeah. It's just the kills come too quickly for Optic Texas at that pinch. Really doesn't amount to too much, but Joe Deceives behind this play. May line up a couple. Doesn't see the player up top at elevator initially, but Shotzi kills enough time and space to try to follow up, finds the elimination. Now a 1v2 for Kleenex. And he's stuck between both players and he knows it. Also doesn't have the bomb to play off of, so this is a difficult moment. Do you play for the kills? Do you play for the bomb? Can you find a way to do both? Not quite. Stuck on the ladder and the elevator, and Optic are dominating.
They just continuously are just taking it to him. Right there, you see Shotzi and Kenny, that dynamic duo, take stage away. Like Ultra, they see a couple stuns and nades coming over the top. They decide to play it a little bit slower, then rely on the flank out of Kleenex. Again, slipping behind enemy lines. But that's 2 rounds in a row where he's done that and not been able to find anything. So Optic Texas now in firm control of this search and destroy. 4 rounds in a row, 4 first bloods in a row. They're looking phenomenal.
This is a head scratcher for Ultra right now. I mean, they aren't finding success with any of these set plays. The first blood tallies are going to be really convincing for Optic, but flat out, they're just not finding gunfights that look good. Kleenex has gotten a couple off pinches, but face-up gunfights have largely all gone the way of Optic. Shotzi already at mid-stairs. Again, that focus for Optic to win out hedges. Has Kleenex isolated. Little wiggle, little wag. Trying to follow up with Kleenex. Beats him on the 1v1. Trades are out on both sides. Toronto currently with the number 3v2.
Fantastic finesse right there out of Kleenex. To miraculously be able to walk away with at least one of those gunfights, put his team in the man advantage. Still have Hook on 6 in a row. You still know that one player is trapped over towards A. Kenny with the shots makes it a 2v2.
Yeah, and that should be enough. As soon as you can get clearance from Hook to plant this bomb, yeah, right for the goal. So this post plant will be set up, backside arches, backside goal over here. Joe will not be able to see anything on the exit. Should give them some intention that they know the post plant's playing through the site, but they don't know where Hook is at the moment. So there's still so much question in terms of how do Ultra want to try to retake this.
And your first contact is going to be on to Kenny. He's watching the site. Very cheeky spot. Bean's going to be right next to him. At least finds that first kill. Now Hook in a 1v2.
And he's up top.
I don't know if you can see it from there, Alan.
I don't know if he can either. I don't think he can. But he may be able to see the cross, and there's the information onto Joe. Clean shots from Hook. He also sees Beans down low, tagged up. But he's going to just bait it out. He's going to wait for the clock. Hook's going to go check. There's not going to be enough time for Beans to get back to the bomb. Just not playing for the win condition. And Hook has clutched up for Optic to get him up 5-1.
Didn't matter if Ultra found the first blood. Optic were effective on the trades, but then Kenny winning that 1-on-1. Turns it into a 2v2. Hook pushing out the back spawn. And then just entirely watching that cross the entire time Kenny was in those gunfights. Was able to turn it into a 1-on-1, and then Hook the Nuke knows who he's playing against. Mr. Benjamin Beans, yeah, he's playing for the kill. He's not going to hop it. Easy clutch there for the Nuke. Point game. Optic Texas.
Wow. And another round where it's just outside of the 1v1 between Kleenex and Shotzi. It just doesn't feel like Ultra can get anything going here. So bizarre considering how this has been a bread and butter search for them. Here we go. This is the adjustment that I would have liked to see before. Yeah, let's get a little bit more aggressive with more numbers here at hedges. Optic have loved to play here and give the guy who's actually having a decent map a chance at it. Kleenex for 2, 4v2 for the first time for Ultra.
Yeah, instantly put the bomb down. Play to your advantages. Play the trade scenario. It's now Dashy and Hook left to try to clutch on up. But you have to find a couple of kills before you even attempt this.
A little bit of damage from Dashy, but cannot tally any kills. So now it would have to be a Nuke 1v4. First to Kleenex is pretty good. Sees Joe Deceives around the back. Stun will lock him in place. Nade to follow. Chance at inside. A couple of shots go his direction, but Joe Deceives, top side of the bomb, not going to lose anymore. And Ultra will stay alive in the map.
And finally, Ultra make that adjustment on their offense. I'm sick and tired of these guys taking hedges away, so all 4 players commit on that angle. And at least at Kleenex finding the opening double. Once you do that, you know the last 2 players are most likely at that B site. We get the bomb down for free. Leads to an easy round there for Ultra as they stay alive in this search and destroy, forced to round number 8. And the adjustments now have to be on the defensive side to where Optic Texas every single round have went over towards hedges. Like if we have to stack that side and give up B.
I think you're right. And it may be one of those circumstances where if you put an AR up towards mid-concourse, if you don't see anything immediately, let's try to get a little bit further up towards Ticket. But instead, Ultra trying to play through the B side of the map. They get locked up, but a self-trade. Once again, the action between Shotzi and CleanX gets us now to a 3v3.
And this is where Kenny can start to take space over towards the Sage side. Dashy probably doesn't want to commit on that gunfight when he's going to go back and watch that one. But now in the 2v3, Optic Texas, another situation where they have full A side control. Kenny's going to do the same thing that Hoot did in the previous round. Just push all the way on the backside out.
Why not? Retake on the way. Kenny spotted. He's in sight. Has to back away. Play over towards the patio. Joe tagged. In sight also catches some damage, but they stay alive. Hook now. 1v3. Action all coming towards him. Oh, but if he finds timing here, there may be a chance to catch him on the slide. No, Joe deceives. Too wise to the play. Checks his corners. Finds the kill. And Ultra get a third.
Yeah, just an easy round right there from Ultra and the numbers advantage. Once they gained that info onto Kenny, they were able to isolate him. Turn it into a 2-on-1 gunfight. I would like to see Hoop just give up his positioning to try to help Kenny potentially on the way on out. But he decides to play it to the 1v3. Ultra, even with Shotzi finding that first blood, instantly respond with the nade out of CleanX as they read that adjustment coming in from Optic Texas early on that B push to stay alive again.
The initial action, heavy-handed as it was towards B, could have been a lot worse, really from both teams' perspectives, because it was straight up a 3v3 quickly over the top of the bleachers. And the fact that only 2 players dropped is pretty surprising. But this is what I was talking about. Yeah, let's use a little bit of this ticket position. If Optic are going to give it away, just take it. And CleanX absolutely does. Trophy system up and in. Joe for the plant. Dashy trying to get nades in, but they're being denied. CleanX pushing him off the angle. And a 4v2 now for Ultra.
Yeah, and it continuously is just getting more difficult and difficult for Optic Texas. Now in these last couple of rounds, Ultra with the pace change has now led to 3 rounds in a row. All out aggression to start on the defense over towards Hedge. CleanX gets it done. They do it the last round on their defense. The aggression towards B, but this time on the offense, we're sick and tired of you guys giving up mid-map the way that you are. So you take it away, you find the initial 2 kills, you take control of the site. A very, very easy round there for Ultra. As now they got some momentum going into this round 10.
I mean, realistically, you could go back and watch every single one of Ultra's offenses up until that round, and it was a CleanX versus Shotzi battle at mid, at hedges. If Shotzi's going to keep playing there, you know that you're going to have an opportunity to play through tickets. So the adjustments are starting to really come to life now for Ultra. This time, look at this. Double stack quick, right through stage. Ultra getting aggressive on the defense. RCXD allowing this to happen. Stuns and nades to follow. Shotzi has an RC of his own, though, and that will actually push Ultra back.
Yeah, I love that play call, because you're probably thinking, okay, RC car is getting invested. They're probably playing super slow, relying on this to gain all the info for them, but they find that first split onto inside. Man advantage in favor of Optic. It's seeming like they're going to think about that rotation over towards New, especially with CleanX now getting backed out.
Yeah, there's just no way you can defend this site. Maybe CleanX could find one. Beans trying to reposition in towards Ticket. Bomb is not here yet, so there's an opportunity to where maybe some timing can go the way of Ultra if they can find a crossing angle. Optic trying to field things out over towards B. Beans able to get one on the backside of the play, but that's all he will get, and it leaves Joe with a 1v3 to try to get this to around 11.
He's on 3 in a row, but the bomb getting planted, and Joe now taking his sweet time, hitting the deep pinch. It's going to make his job a whole lot more difficult. Does not have an AR in the back pocket, so these long-range gunfights aren't easy, and that is going to be the search and destroy going in favor of Optic Texas.
It just honestly felt like Ultra didn't trust the fact that they had mid for free every single round on both sides of the map. And by the time we get to round 8, round 9, I think it just is too long for them to get a read that, hey, we've got the opportunity to run through mid, but not by doing it through hedges. A couple of tempo changes here and there for Ultra, but Optic, largely speaking, it was really both teams wanting to try to fight for hedges, but Optic just spending more resources, spending more numbers, and coming away the victors more often than not leads us to a 6-4.
Yeah, Optic Texas doing what they needed to do, especially in that first blood column. They read early on what Ultra were going to throw at them, and it was simply just slowing down the game. If you're allowing Optic Texas to pick you guys apart, read what your setup is looking like, and then find that first blood, they just play their numbers advantage so well, especially so far in this map number 2. Ultra were just way too late to respond. Like we saw it at least in that map number 1, where they made the adjustments on the second half of the game to keep it a little bit closer. And the same thing could be said for the Search and Destroy. You go down 4-1, you bring it all the way back to at least 5-4. But it's just Optic Texas only needing one more round. They find that first blood onto Insight, and that final round was beautiful from Optic because they read it. They read where that pressure was coming in, even with the RC car. That's the biggest thing, is because you're expecting the RC to be the only thing pushed up. No one else going to be over towards Globe, no one else over towards Stage. But just Shotzi realizing that and then using it, RC, to slow down Ultra, allowed them to pick off that first kill, think about that rotation over towards New, and then just dominate on their post plan.
The game plan perfect in map number 2. The dominate that we've often seen Optic pull on map 1 continues to be the case. Looking polished across the first 2 game modes as we head back to the desk.
Welcome back, everybody. Nameless, first question for you.
Sure.
Optic just beat the best search team in Search and Destroy. Is Optic the best Search and Destroy team?
Listen, I've been saying this. They have looked good in Search. They lost a couple 6-4s, and people are like, oh, Search is going to be their tough game mode. This team knows what they're doing. They come extremely prepared. I will say I agree 100% in its entirety in what Jay and Alan were just talking about. Like, Toronto have to take over mid there. Did they not watch the match versus the LA Thieves that Optic had, right? Like, if they make those adjustments a little bit earlier, maybe we're talking about something totally different here. But yeah, Optic prepared.
Yeah, and I have to say, this was probably a really refreshing red card S&D to watch, because typically we've seen all these bang-outs on the side of B, where Optic Texas took a very different approach in the first half of the Search and Destroy, making their presence known through mid, making their presence known through hedges and towards the A side. And Toronto Ultra, it's hard to prepare for that. And once they do, Optic tried to flip the switch. And for Toronto Ultra, unfortunately, the adjustments just came way too late in that Search and Destroy. And we know Toronto Ultra finds the most success when they are aggressive through mid-map, when they take space on defense. And unfortunately, they just did not do that until the later half of this series.
All right, so it was 16-4 were the kills to deaths for Shotzi and Hook combined before Ultra started to turn this around. Was it purely the SMGs, or was it Optic strategies that were just better than Toronto in the first half?
No, it's Optic strategies. I mean, you know, still a couple rounds they're able to get the bomb down A, and I think what teams are going to realize on red card is, like, retaking on B is not that difficult. You don't have to blind counter, like, hold B every time. Like, we need to make sure they can't get it down at A, because it is a hell of a lot harder to retake that bomb site. So I think Optic's had a really good game plan today, slowing it down when they needed to. Luke started off, I think, 6-0. Incredible stuff.
2-0 start. Optic crushing. Kenny, it's good at the game. You want to learn more? I always got you.
I do got you. Hello, welcome to Drawing to Conclusions. Let's hope the tablet doesn't try and prey on my downfall this time. I want to point out kind of two sides of the same coin when it comes to this clip. So we're near the end of the game. We're near P2, and you guys know me. I love staring at this mini-map, and the situation basically right now is Toronto Ultra overhitting, about 20 seconds left of scrap time over on P2. This is the second time this happens in this game, where I want to give flowers to Kenny, where he makes a huge heads-up route man play. So I'm going to go ahead and hit play on this mini-map. Number 1, by the way, is going to be Kenny. I probably should have pointed that out first, but he's gonna go on a lovely trip over the top side of the map. Nobody's there, there's no pressure, it is a free lane, and he's searching for people that just don't care to rotate. And Toronto Ultra unfortunately fall into this pit again, where they're hitting these 20 seconds for the second time, and they're gonna lose spawns here because of the heads up play that Kenny makes. And now his presence is going to be here. He's going to find this kill, and his teammates are going to have free reign to getting that initial time. And like I said, this is the second time this happened, so a lot to learn from the side of Toronto Ultra, and heads up plays and flowers to Kenny and his routes.
Yeah, what's big about this moment is, like, he doesn't exactly secure the back spawn, but he's alleviating pressure, right? Because he takes that long route, he ends up finding a kill, and this happened twice, where they just let Kenny get into their top art for free. They get a big chunk of time, they'll get it to 246 when you have the preferential side. That's not ideal for Toronto.
Our first match took over 2 hours. Study and shift, we're at the helm. This match could finish in 42 minutes. Let's get into it.
How dare you jinx us with such blasphemous energy. Unreal scenes. But so far, it really has been just polished gameplay so through and through for Optic. And I think the interesting news as we start to look forward in now to the Vault Control, better news for Optic again, because they have looked really good here, whereas on the other front, Ultra have not been able to really figure out Control. In particular, this map, it has not looked particularly great for them.
Yeah, the only thing that's been treating them well so far has been protocol control, but Optic Texas being teammate, they said, nah, we're going to get that one out the way. You either got to square up with us on our best map, which is going to be Vault, or a map that you barely played on, Hacienda. They decide to go with the Vault strategy, and it might come back to bite them, because Optic are, without question, the best Vault Control team that we have in the game. They get it done on both the attacking side and the defensive side, where they're able to outslay on both ends. It's as simple as that. If you're Ultra, if you want to try to take down Optic Texas on their best control, gunnies need to be hot.
I think the interesting point about the veto conversation, this is where Ultra is going to be the most vulnerable coming into the major.
Yep.
Because they have hard set vetoes, red card, hardpoint, skyline search, and they haven't won a Hacienda on any game mode yet. So it's going to be one of those situations where Ultra's going to have to be, you know, more dynamic when it comes to what they do when it comes to the major. Because simply put, I think they might be able to get away with it against some of the lower teams in the league, but against the other top four, they're going to get exposed if they don't have the ability to play Hacienda this upcoming weekend. So it's definitely interesting. It definitely plays a factor here in this series because, like you said, just get rid of protocol, force them to have to play on your best map or one of their worst. It's just, it is tough, I think, right now if you're Ultra with Hacienda being added to the pool and them not being able to figure it out yet.
Yeah, and especially losing the search and destroy. Like, that's been your bread and butter. You usually find yourself into these series tied up at 1 going into the control, but now backs against the wall 0-2. You need to try to turn this one around, build some momentum here. And it has to be a better performance, I think, from the ARs, because we saw Beans and Insight not really show up in that map number 1, where Vault is usually about the AR presence. We're having on Vault again, where the ARs need to be able to be felt. And also not losing track of players like Shotzi and Hoop, because they can make your life a living hell.
Yep. Okay, well, the issue is going to be trying to keep track of Shotzi in particular. We saw that on Vault Hardpoint. We're likely going to see moments of that here on the control. For Ultra, do you look to see if they could have the same disruption strategy that Optic has shown success with? I just, like, when you think about how Ultra have played the game, you don't feel, at least I don't feel like they do it in a way that some of the other top teams are doing it, where, you know, there's one SMG player that is just constantly hitting pinches, constantly hitting routes. It just feels like they're more of the concentrated focus, full 4-man setups, more of the flood style mentality, and Ali was kind of drawing that out again. If they're flooding in with 25 seconds remaining on an old hard point, and no one's hitting routes, no one's trying to pick up pinches, it can get disastrous quickly, especially when you have someone like Shotzi on the other side.
Yeah, and that's going to be tough, man, because I think they are one of the middle of the pack teams on the attacking side. They average about 4 segments, even though they fall short. They're also keeping up in that slaying department, but the biggest difference for them is their defenses, where they're 9th overall. They give up 4th best on the ticks column. They don't really keep up in the slaying department. That's when you need to be able to make the adjustments, because we know usually defenses run supreme in control. But on a map like Vault, where if you allow one situation to get away from you, if you all die in sync, those stacks come in and those points are instantly gone. So Ultra just need to forget about those last 2 maps. They need to come in with more of a game plan. We're gonna do this together, not really relying on one player, but sometimes those individual players need to come out.
Agreed. And it's just interesting because, you know, I think early on this season, I was looking to a player like Kleenex and I was like, if he can find a way to fly and fry, like we've seen some of the other SMGs, he could be on for maybe an MVP caliber year. You know, especially considering that looks like early he was going to be the guy kind of running that role. But that was very short-lived. We got back from the break, and it really wasn't that. There was more of the baton passing between him and Joe, and it wasn't in ways that we see teams like Atlanta and even early Thieves and Optic do. So lots on the line here for our team that currently sits 6-0 through the qualifiers. Only dropping a single series this year. That was a map 5 reverse sweep versus Minnesota, but there's still a lot on the line because this Ultra squad is still, of course, sitting at the top of the leaderboard, but Optic can supplant them with a win here. But the other situation for the bracket, if you're joining us in here late, is that Optic has the potential of dropping all the way to like the 5th seed if they lose this series. And Boston would be the team jumping up to the 2 seed because of the tiebreaker situation, going all the way back to December when Boston was able to beat Optic. So there's a lot on the line here, Jay, in terms of the seeding, but this is how it stands as of right now. And if Optic wins, this is how the bracket would shake out.
Yeah, I only think that Optic now, after winning those first 2 maps, can no longer fight for that 5th seed. They can only be stuck between 1 and 3.
And 3,
So it's as simple as that. If you're Optic, just close this one out. Go into Major 1 as your number 1 seed. If you're Ultra and you fall short here, you would be knocked down to that number 2 seed. So still a lot on the line for both of these teams. Obviously, if you're Optic, you don't want to lose this series in reverse sweep fashion and then go into the Major to square up against Atlanta. So you want to try to close it out here, and Vault Control is the only thing standing in their way.
Yep. Easier said than done, though, when it comes to trying to find success for Ultra to get into a map 4 situation due to the fact that these numbers really do hold some significant power. That's this month.
Yeah.
But when you talk about Optic overall in Control, a lot of what they've done on Vault has come early through the season. They've been mostly trying to focus on the Hacienda as of lately, but every time we see them here, it is not fun for the other team, it feels like. So we'll see what Ultra try to do. And they'll kick things off on offense. Eyes towards A. Opening gunfight's already underway.
3 initial kills going in favor of Optic Texas. Now Kleenex has some ground to make up for it. See the rest of Optic, though, they just said, go ahead, Kleenex, you can keep on roaming. We're going to trap everybody else in the back of their spawn.
Hook watching over towards Pool. Everyone else just making sure there's no extension towards B. And Shotzzy just doing Shotzzy things in the middle of the map. Get a kill, get lost. Get some information, give it to your team, get lost. It's so overwhelming when you've got that ability just to swarm and just completely unknown in position. Kleenex able to come back to the hard point or leave the control zone for a moment, but yeah, Optic Texas are controlling where Ultra are spawning at the moment.
Yep, this is way too easy for them so far. Hook pushed out towards water side. This is going to influence the spawn to either spawn towards back tank or the backside of gold. And Optic Texas so far have been able to neutralize every single time Ultra have worked out of their spawn. That's 3, making another 4 dead. Hook with a flawless star to search and destroy. Already up to a flawless star here in the control. Not a single segment earned from Ultra.
Yeah, and Ultra are just trying to full send it in towards the middle of the map. They do clean things up. 4 down, like you said, 14.6 on the clock. Optic quickly off spawn. Shotzzy seeing what he can find. No one's watching the vault, excuse me. Shotzzy nearly finds the double. Damage tallied. Kenny trying to follow up on that, but he will be pushed off and a second tick gets captured. Looking like a third on the way.
Oh yeah, it's guaranteed. Kleenex and Beans are able to combine for 2 apiece. Beans on 4 in a row. It's gonna allow Ultra to extend this game clock a little bit. Currently down by 5 live. Joe DeCease reads the playmaker on the opposing end in Shotzzy. You're already at this B point.
Yeah, might be an opportunity here. Yeah, Beans on 4 in a row. Gets an eye towards who. Can't land any of the shots. Follow up from Art. Side Dashy gets the pistol for the win. 17 now plays 9. Doesn't feel likely for the offense, but I guess the silver lining here is considering the circumstances in the first minute and a half of this control point. At least you got 3 ticks this round.
Yeah, that's the biggest thing you can look at. But you still have an opportunity to potentially take this round away. Kleenex at least finds 1, but we can't afford to play trades in this scenario. 13v5. Final push here for Ultra.
This is bad sportsmanship from our ops team. 0-7 start for Insight. That's what they want us to talk about, you have to imagine. Rightfully so, I think, in a lot of ways. There's kill number 1 for him, but again, 11 plays 3. Couple eliminations through mid-map, though. If Kleenex can find a way to run up B Street, maybe you can stop the clock, but no. All that, a mere fantasy for Ultra, as Optic legitimately just dominate outside of the 1 breakthrough Ultra was able to find.
Yeah, they only found those extra 3 segments in the final 15 seconds of this first round. And that's just Optic Texas dominating in this lane. Simple as that. You're finding kills in sync, 3 to 4 dead. You're controlling where they're spawning, and you are allowing them to just run right into your preamps. As Optic secure the first defense, now they go on offense.
Yeah. Secure is putting it lightly. Dominate. Woof. Maybe the more appropriate term. What can you do on the offensive side here? You know, again, just kind of talking through the statistics, there's a lot of positives to talk about when it comes to Optic on this map due to their record, but, you know, the vault control has been fine on all sides. Best attacking team. Ticks per attack have been solid, but a lot of their win percentage has come by way of just dominating the kill feed again, largely thanks to this guy, who can just go rogue, find kills, and just open up the map for his teammates. Nice opening shots, though, from Beans down low. Kleenex also able to keep the A zone safe, and this is a good start here for Ultra.
Yeah, Ultra knew the start of. They said, Shotzi, no. You're not going to hit us with this kind of play right off the rip of this round. Able to shut down the playmaker, but that's already 3 dead in favor of the green wall. Now you can put yourself in a position to contest over towards A. You had Shotzi trying to edge out his way over towards B to force a couple players from Ultra to put focus on him, but his teammates now gonna soak up this first segment. Second one should also be guaranteed.
Yeah, Kleenex, though, gonna try to hit up towards balcony. Shotzi gonna give it up at the most inopportune moment, so maybe there's a chance to pinch this up, but no, Hook up top. Good shots coming through. Optic will just be short, though, of the second tick of progress. Kenny, by himself, trying to keep the play alive, but will be dismissed. So 22 plays 22. 42 seconds on the clock, and Shotzi off the respawn is back onto his routes.
Up, catches the freebie onto Kleenex. Now, if you're Ultra, you have to try to account for what kind of play he's going to throw at you. Hopefully, everybody else just wins their one-on-one gunfights, and that's so far the case.
Whoa.
Insight with a double leads to Joe flying on in for the 4th kill. Everybody off the respawn for Optic.
Dashy up top at gold, just trying to create some sort of a route. I think he knows it's a player around him, though. Yeah, Pistol is going back and forth, does not find Joe Deceives. Hook trying to confirm the trade, but cannot find him. Joe has been slippery. That killed off so much clock. And now here's a last ditch effort for Optic. Has to be a dive on into A. Dashy cleans up onto 1, but Beans and Insight still very much so healthy and alive around the backside of the site until Hook comes up from behind. Pistol will win it. It stops at .8, but Joe, next one in, gets the trade, and Ultra will actually have an edge now all of a sudden through the first 2 rounds in this control.
Gonna be up by 2 segments. Phenomenal job on the defensive side to read where the early pressure was coming in, to not all drop in sync. Then that retake to work their way back into that A point before the second segment gets locked in. Optic Texas are probably thinking we probably should have stacked in that situation, potentially extend the game clock a little bit sooner, but Ultra keep it scattered around that mid-map area. Tie the game up at 1. Now you just need to make sure you stay ahead in those segments.
Yep. And just not get spawn trapped off the break-off, too. That would be helpful. See what they try to muster here. Looks like it'll be all eyes towards A. And maybe a lot of focus here after the balconies. Yeah, trophy system down. Joe actually still catches damage from incoming Optic nades. And it's a quick route already from Shotzi. Doesn't see anyone over towards the outside hallway. Hits behind the play, finds 2. And Optic have won this A zone, although the shots from Beans will allow Ultra to come off spawn and have a second opportunity immediately.
Yeah, they already have top cat control and watching those crossfires through the mid-map area, so you can instantly force your way right back on in. Beans only effective for 1 on the pinch. Joe Deceives, your turn to make a play. He knows that they're still looking for 1 player, but Shotzi said, screw the one-on-one. I'm going to go fight the guys off the respawn.
Joe will back up and find himself the first tick of progress at A, but Optic have reclaimed the zone with conviction. Insight. 7-13, just hoping he can find a free gunfight. He's not getting one. It's just double shells all over the place for Optic. Kleenex bursting forward. Good sense of pace from him, but the rest of the team is still coming off spawn, and they have to play through pool. This is not where you want to be if you're Toronto.
Look at Shotzi. He knows that they're spawning over towards pool. He's trying to time this pinch. Is able to at least find 1. Potentially get out of dodge. No, Kleenex is going to wrap back to secure that kill. Now with 30 seconds left, all the kills going in favor of Ultra. The stack is going to be here. Time should be extended.
Decent idea from Kleenex, but Hook slides, finds cover, finds the kill, but cannot contest the zone. So an extra 60 seconds again going to be tallied. 18 plays 17 this time. Life count much better in terms of a resource for the side of Toronto's offense, and they're finding a couple of kills. Maybe a chance here to get over towards B. Yeah, Shotzi on the pinch gets caught. Dashy, the last one standing, will also fall. So now Beans trying to play forward. The rest of his team behind him, trying to get out of the zone. 2 players in for the stack. First tick looking likely.
Get your trophies down, because you know the nades are going to start to rain over the top. Thankfully, a car bomb is able to find that kill onto Inside. Dashy with the double. Last player alive is Kleenex. At least he's able to find 1 kill for now. Try to keep the map control in favor of his team, but a minute left on the game clock, 12v12.
That first tick is not secured. It's being depleted for just a brief moment from Optic. Joe, mid-statue, trying to play around the backside of this play. Semtex out, Hook in trouble. Hook will drop. Kleenex with 4 in a row. He's going to finish off this first tick of progress, but is not expecting Kenny to be playing outside palms. Beans trying to follow up for the trade. Oh, difficult gunfight. Kenny takes the win. 8 plays 9. 43 seconds on the clock, but Joe Deceives is still forward.
Yeah, Joe Deceives is an art. How much more can he find from that position? Or how much time can be wasted if Optic Texas try to locate where he is? He comes out from the side door, is able to locate Dashy. That's already 3 dead. They still know that they're looking for 1 player. Kenny does get a kill, but no more response for Optic.
Yep, 7v4, and Joe can continue to put pressure on this pinch. Second tick locked. 6v4. Optic trying to find some room to work with, but Joe Deceives denies. Dashy drops. Now Joe can get active. Hook not going to be traded immediately, but may not make much of a difference. Insight finds the final shots, and Ultra take the offense by way of eliminations, but they were still able to secure a number of ticks behind that play too.
Oh yeah, that's 7 now that they're in the lead of. So it's back-to-back defenses for Ultra if we do go to round number 5. And that round simply comes down to the finessing out of the SMGs right there. Like Kleenex showed moments where, okay, Joe Deceives working this deep pinch. You're thinking that he's isolated. He throws a nade to at least back down his opponents, but then Kleenex, again on the pinch, was able to find that double. And then when you work your way in towards our, just Joe Deceives dancing with death. Was able to finesse for so damn long, find a couple kills along the way. That leads to Ultra just leading in the slaying. Because now they're up 2-1. Back-to-back defenses.
Yeah. Pinstripe kill feed back and forth, but it will be 4 kills for Toronto. Last one standing in the play was Beans, and he's made a play through P2. Hook reads it, finds the kill, and everything will go back to neutral. 25 plays 26. Optic tried to spread the map a touch here. Shotzzy on the mantle, caught by Joe Deceives, and Optic will be pushed back into spawn.
And it's where Optic have now to take their time. We can't be forcing these one-on-one gunfights after one-on-one. So we do not have any map control to even do that with, but they continuously are getting picked apart. Even nades are connecting across the map. Another clean 4 dead. Optic are in hell.
Yes, they are. Kenny, backside palm, shut down. What set of shots those are from Joe?
Someone get a kill!
Single kill for Optic. After what looked to be a hot start in round 1 where Ultra are barely shooting back, now it's a little bit of take your own medicine, as there's only 25 seconds remaining and Ultra have really started to heat up.
Finally, Optic with 23 seconds left are able to work out of their base. But they need this time to be extended on this first attempt. Insight at least able to find 1. Shotzzy and Dashy combined for 2. So Kleenex, the last guy to make a play, only able to take down 1. Time still paused.
Pinch from Joe Deceives. Sloppy though on the initial shots, gives Optic a chance to react. Beans looking like he may want to try to hit this without really much help around him immediately. First kill is decent. Hook for the trade. Up top now on the balcony. Kleenex and Insight trying to work this together. That will work out for them to re-enter into the zone. Progress being halted. Clock continues to tick. Kenny at the mid doors will take damage from the Semtex. Pistols out though, and it will just be down to the last 2 defensive members for Ultra, trying to kill off these last 4 seconds. Optic hop in together. First shots from Joe are good. The secondary shots even better, but Hook will double up, and there may be a chance here for Optic to extend the clock, but there's just not enough lives either way. Ultra bouncing back here in map number 3.
Yeah, and everything that we said, Alan, about, you know, going into the major, only having 1 control map that is playable for you, they shut me right up. That was perfect right there out of Ultra. We're talking about the adjustments on defenses where they usually tend to get trapped in the back of their spawn. Usually finding themselves in a situation where they're spawning on the backside of P4 and thinking about those nades raining over B. But this time they were just in your face, had you trapped for so long. Optic had 3 different times where they all came off the respawn and couldn't find a single kill any one of those times. Ultra just slayed them to bits on that defensive side. Obviously, the SMGs reign supreme. Joe Deceives and Kleenex with multiple engagements, 19 non-traded kills from both ends. But Ultra, they just brought it, that map. They outslayed the hell out of Optic Texas to at least force this game 4.
And the resiliency just from being beat in the round 1 breakoff, in the blender, where the spawn trap from Optic is looking convincing. But you're right, if you were to compare when Ultra being spawn trapped compared to when Optic are being spawn trapped, at least Ultra were trying to get themselves together to work out of it, and it worked out pretty darn decently. You can kind of see it here through the replays. This is when it started to happen, where it's just like, whoa, we don't have any ground to work with whatsoever. But eventually, it's straight eliminations for Ultra. With 15 seconds left in a 7-life deficit, they're able to get through the A zone, stack it up for the extra 60. And from that point on, it just felt like Ultra much more understanding on what they wanted to do in the map and finding ways to execute on that game plan.
Yeah, and it helps when you're finding all the kills in sync. A 2 dead leads to a 3 or 4 dead at the same time. You know, all of Optic are accounted for now, and in this final defensive round. I just loved that there was nonstop aggression from Joe Deceives and Kleenex throughout the middle of the map.
Sure.
But then at the same time, they push their way up through pool, and at the same time, the ARs on the opposing end are pushing their way up through gold, so you spawn them on the backside of that tank. That's what makes it so much more difficult for Optic Texas, because they're thinking, okay, I'm off the respawn. Okay, there's one to my right, there's one to my left. I can't do anything. So Ultra definitely showing that practice is going to allow them to improve in their control with the 3-1 victory on that vault. But now they go into a protocol hardpoint, which is a bread and butter HP for them. So we potentially might go 5, Alan. And we ain't far from done yet.
It very well may be that way. I mean, this has been a map where, you know, again, we haven't really seen a lot of playthroughs for the side of Optic. But Toronto, we have, and their SMGs really, again, come to life when we get onto this map, as you would expect. But they do it in the way that we were talking about this in our first series, where you trust that Beans and Insight are going to create a 4v3, and then you run through it. You don't just dive on in because you feel like you have to as a sub. You wait to get the information, you wait to collect onto a kill, and then you take the ground away. That has been so good from Ultra, especially on this map where their average margin of victory is quite significant. Maybe save the one time they lost to this when they played FaZe way back in week number 1. Since then, though, they've looked really, really good, including the 2 times they played Minnesota here.
The only thing that's, again, scares me for this Ultra squad when you talk about HPs is being the team early at these hills. They're sitting at overall 8th on this map. You're going up against Optic, who are 7th overall. The only thing that can cause you issues, though, is that Optic are their #1 breaking team, and when they find that break, they find most of that time as well. So if you are Optic Texas, we run the rotations just like you did in map number 1. You have the opportunity to close it out in 4. If you are Toronto Ultra and you win rotations here, you will be in a position to, you know, set up properly to try to force this game 5. So rotations, again, just like map number 1, are the key factor.
I like the call. Just comes down to who executes better. And I think most importantly, when you talk about 2 teams that, largely speaking, when it comes to Hardpoint, have a very strong understanding of what they want to do on rotation, there is a level of who has the better efficiency when it comes down to actually holding. I will say that, you know, for the side of Ultra, their rotation percentage has not been particularly great. It's not terrible here, though. That's the thing. It just comes down to, can they actually put themselves in good positions early and give Optic a bit more of a workout? Because, like we talk about, this Toronto team just kind of, it's one of those situations I feel like we watch them in Hardpoint. It's like hills greater than kills. They love to play the OBJ. That's how they find their way through some of the Hardpoint maps that they play to a good, I would say, success rate. Whereas Optic, they could come away with 4 in a row, 4 wins or 4 straight eliminations in a row, full team wipe you, and then all of a sudden you're just in hell again.
I'm also looking at Ultra to not start so slow in this hardpoint, because that changes everything of what Optic Texas are now going to do. You go up 100 points, you can start hitting those rotations early with about 25, 30 seconds still to play at that old hill. And that's what keeps you in that lead, just playing ahead. So if you're Ultra, you need to start off how? You cannot allow Optic to go up 50 to 60 points, especially off the first 2 hills, because we know how impactful that P3 to P4 chain is.
Lots of keys to look out for. But after what seems like a wake-up map from Toronto and map number 3, can they take that same energy here onto legitimately a map that people can get around you real quick? It's just, you're not going to be able to watch everything. So there has to be a level of initiation to try to be the instigators on a lot of those plays and force Optic to get back on their heels a little bit. Opening gunfights, not particularly great, though, for Ultra. Kleenex, okay, saves it by finding himself a 2, but here's that route. Hook around the back, already playing through elevator.
Man, shout out to the observant team right there for the perfect angle for all those gunfights through the mid-map. Even though Insight finds 3, you still have Hook on the pinch contesting it. His teammates are spawning over towards 10. Hook relieves that pressure on towards the point. Now Optic can hop right back in.
Yep, I love that he doesn't take that 3rd challenge over towards gun. He just gives the information, holds on to sidewalk where he can manipulate spawns. Oh, and Hook is off to the races. 4-0 start. Optic dominate through the middle of the map. A chance in this last 10 seconds to start getting some time, as they will also have some numbers on rotation.
Yeah, I don't know if that made sense right there for Hook. He hits the zip. You should not get fall damage, but at least you're going to win the rotation over towards Nude. 22 seconds there at P1. Hook initially in towards the P2 time. Right after Ultra, you need to find a break, and it needs to start with the min-map presence. Insight again with the multi-kill. Finds 3 in a row. Now this should lead to a quick break.
Yeah, Hook trying to find himself a little bit of cover, but denied. Kenny off the regen, slides forward, finds 1 elimination while Optic are still spawning at the back. Big whip from Dashy. Looks for nades, finds him cooking up a nade. Trade from Kleenex, but He doesn't have anywhere to go, so Optic will have the numbers. They'll dive right back into the hard point. There's still 27 seconds to fight for.
And you already have 2 players from Ultra spawning across the map. Thankfully, the last 2 players who are holding down tin area are able to find those 2 kills. So Kleenex and Joe on the pinch, turn it into a 3v1. They just haven't been able to locate where Hook is. Thankfully, you still have the spawns for the next HP.
At least for now. Hardpoint not open yet, so every kill, from Hook's perspective, would be a Toronto Ultra spawn out likely. But they can't find anything, so Hook will just hold his ground here at middle and give Optic a chance to try to threaten from the front immediately. Stunned up just before he makes his aggression. Shots through Spiral, good for 1, but caught, and Ultra will have a rotational win here to P3.
Oh, now Dashi at least contesting from top 3 is gonna challenge instead of waiting for his teammates to apply the pressure. But Hook on the pinch now finds a little bit of success. Can he potentially spawn the players out? Good enough for the double. You still have the back spawns if you are Ultra, and Hook has gotten a perfect read. Can't find those kills, but his teammates find the break.
Yeah, now Kenny can step forward, but Semtex takes him out of position. Shotzzy, the baton passes his direction, but can't lock down the shot through the pillars. And now Ultra trying to re-break in from the backside. Pinch on the way, though. Hook is quickly back into the play, and this has been, I would say, sloppier than you would expect from Ultra. They were able to win out the gunfight, stop the spawn trap, but Optic keep flooding in from front middle, and they're the ones who are technically going to win this hard point.
Yeah, that can't happen if you're Ultra. Kills went your way, but you allow 1 player in Hook to hit that deep right route through both sides. And able to keep it scrappy, and Optic Texas walk away a majority of that time. And this is where the game can start to get out of hand. Insight the Soul Man here. He's going to get picked off. Optic win the rotation to the money hill here at P4.
Yeah, Jodeci is going to get stunned over towards Spiral. Nate's the follow, and he's completely destroyed before the setup could really come into play. Kleenex catches a couple, but yeah, it's just too much distraction from Optic inside the hard point. Insight slides through. Hook in trouble, trying to catch timing on the angle. Shotzzy helping out from the field, and Hook just finesses up and down he goes. But Toronto will get a momentary break with 27 on the clock.
And it's inside again. Allen just multiple double kill after double kill, that time with the SMG in hand. Leads to the break there for Ultra for a good chunk of time. You're just not prepared for how many reinforcements Optic are going to use to try to break their way back on in. Pinstripe kill feed. Kleenex with a double turns into a 1-on-1. And Ultra able to walk away with that remaining junk time. Still very into this game, but the only thing Ultra now got to be thinking about, the adjustments we need to make at P3.
Absolutely the case. And at the same breath, they're going to have to try to find some high ground to work with because Optic own essentially both houses right now. Dashi comfortable inside the hard point. Kleenex, can he find an angle here? No, he's going to be seen, but Dashi is low. Will be overwhelmed as Toronto starts to find a couple of kills, and this is leading to some good moments from Ultra in the last 2 hills.
Yeah, they're starting to come alive, man. Hook the nuke, though, again, the game breaker. Able to find a double. You know that they're still spawning on the backside of Grandma's. You open up a lane for your teammates to now get back on towards P1. 25 seconds still to fight for here. Ultra trying to nade out Dashi, trying to stun him out. Make their job a little bit easier, but still, Optic effective on continuously trading.
But the lead dwindles to just about 20 points. 10 seconds to fight for, and look at the minimap. Ultra are in position with the correct spawns that they want, going over towards P2. Hook trying to force something up top at mid, not gonna work out. Spawns will stay stable, and now it's just down to can Ultra execute on this setup, a rotation win. Can they find a good hold here at 2?
Yeah, don't let anyone slip on by. First line of defense is taking care of shots. He was trying to contest from combo steps. He eventually stalls the attention from Ultra to that side, and then his teammates fly through top mid for an easy 3 dead. Now Joe, last player alive. Insight again opens up with the first kill. Joe with the re-wrap through top mid.
Yeah, good.
He's able to lead to the break there for Ultra.
Yeah, really, really solid for Joe Deceives on the timing of the route. Good awareness, and now he can help finish up this back 30.
Gotta flip these spawns, Alan.
Yeah, as the Optic are still holding on, though, to this field setup, and that's going to be the next issue here, especially with they're going to trust that Hook can come up from behind this play and give him a chance at contesting. Oh, nice long-range shots from Joe, but the force from the front starts to amount. Optic will break in for the scrap time, and look at the spawns. They're going to move around a little bit. This is a key moment for Ultra if they want to try to actually take a lead.
Yeah, they need to make the adjustments on P3. Thankfully, Optic get a little too aggressive through that mid-map. No one blocks the back spawn, so Ultra are blessed with the opportunity to win the rotation over towards New, but you have to make it count. I just don't know if you're accounting for everyone. Thankfully, the players inside the hard point are winning the gunfights, but Optic get the spawns right on back.
just another moment you could clip that last 30 seconds, and you can see it. Optic are just more prone to hitting these routes to open up space. Toronto is a little bit too turtled, but from inside the hard point, they're doing a decent job of fighting back. Shotzzy on 3 in a row, opts to go to the nade. That's where he will drop. Hoop next one in. Able to double up even while stunned. And that will be enough for Dashy to step up, find Beans, and that is going to be a break attempt down for Object. Still 20 to fight for.
And this is where you have somebody instantly think about that rotation, and you best believe it's going to be Shotzzy. Puts himself in a position to contest bottom P4. Freebie for the first kill. This double will basically secure it. He has a little bit of assistance there for his teammates, but Optic Texas now in the driver's seat to blow this game wide open.
Yeah, from scrap to initial between 3 and 4. 141 to 104. How much damage can Optic do here in the first 20 to 30 seconds on the 4th hill? Good opener here from Toronto. Stuns allow them a chance to get some numbers and try to break this open quickly. Nades in the back, also landing, leaving Dashy by himself off spawn. That's the rest of Optic trying to flood forward as we take a moment to see how they're coming as an Optic's listening.
Vote late, Jamie, bro. Vote late, nice job. That's big kill. Take your time, take your time, take your time.
One spiral, there's one down.
On the computer, just scan. Two.
One's in zip,
One's in zip. Zip in spiral. Two small. Okay, get him. Nice job. Yo, big door late. I got mid. I'm zip. One can be bigger. Bigger. I'm dead. He's on mid. Make computer in zip. Make computer in zip. Last hit. Nice, good man, bro. Yo, let him once. Alright, 2-0. Alright, they can be in there. There's 3 out. Two more. They can be there. Give me there. I'm gonna pitch maybe. I don't see any there. Low elbow. Elbow Jamie dead. That's what I'm trying. Load up. Nice. Last guy load up. Load up. Nice job, bro. Load up. I will get Tom. Everybody just hold. Get the cross to Tom. Get on me, bro. Alright, front chest first. I'll see the front chest. Top. Another one. Elbow me, bro. Top dub and Jamie. Elbow. Top dub and elbow. Last hit.
Top, really weak. Top on you. Nice. I don't know where top up.
It's Jamie. They can make gun on you, bro. Make gun after this.
Top dub hit her out. Top dub dead. Nice. Look at pictures.
I'm top pitch. He's on top. Yo, he's front chest. Absolute. Run up. Alright, one shot top trip. You got him. Nice. Last guy missing one, bro.
Let's step it up. Get time?
Yeah, I can get it. Just hold it. Everybody just hold it.
Top ledge. He's up at me. Me. Yo, no, one guy's white. Going left side mid. Clean
P2 jump. One shot P2, absolute. One's big gun on me.
Look at top dubs.
Big gun jump. One shot. Nice. Left side mid it too.
I need a top.
Nice, left side mid.
One of these above me. Mid gun. I see mid gun.
Can't get that guy.
Mid gun.
I mean, it's just another one of those moments, Jay. It's either Shotzzy or Hoop. They just get in the back line of Toronto and they start feasting. And the problem now for Toronto is that you have to keep focus on the objective, but that means you're not putting focus on rotation. It's just one of those leaders' advantages moments that Optic can do whatever they want, and they're going to find an early break here at 2.
Yeah, they did it in map number 1, and now they're doing it here in map number 4. Kenny miraculously is able to walk away with 3 in a row before getting traded. Still allows Optic Texas to work their way back on in for free. You do have one player, Kleenex, though, who does spawn on the backside of 10. So you just want to try to play your life because you know we need these spawns for the next HP.
Well, he's committed, though. He knows he has to come back over to the hard point. So Dashy will just sit back, take down one, Kenny the other, and that's just another moment where, because Ultra have to keep their focus on the hard point, they lose focus on what's happening around the back, and now Optic are cleaning up in the kill feed. They're going to get well past the 200-point mark, and they've got rotational success over towards 3.
Oh, my God. This is Hook's building right here. Like, he's been able to roam around this area for multi-kill after multi-kill, but again, too aggressive up through Grandma's. No one blocking the back spawns. Gives Ultra another opportunity to potentially lead to a break. But all the kills in favor of Optic Texas. 2-2 split. Spawns Ultra towards the back. They need to get in.
Yeah, Optic are just doing such a nice job of team working out these moments together. Kenny gonna reset, make his way past Zip. See Hook spawns in behind the play, but is not needed immediately. Optic from inside the hard point win the battles. And now Dashy's watching the cross. Oh, mercy me. This could get really ugly really quickly. Dashy, you're not gonna be able to turn and find insight. But still, the time continues to tick up for Optic. Ultra have to break from the front.
Yeah, they have to. You have to get in, or they're Optic are gonna be able to close out the map here. Kenny at least lines up a double. Beans flies in for a double of his own, but Dashy, Mr. Batman, 38 and 30. A minute and 20 in the hill. Are gonna allow his teammates now to push to now only needing about 3 seconds. One break is all they need.
Yep, and Shotzi's already kicked us off with the opener. Now you can wait. Hook on one side, Dashy coming from the other. Shotzi from the front door. It's just a full pinch, completely enveloped. Is this Ultra setup? And that's going to be Optic Texas dominating from start to finish on both hard points. Holy, this team looks terrifying. And now they claim the #1 seed going to Madrid.
Man, they look phenomenal, especially in those HP games. They are able to micromanage the little things about players spawning out, realizing, okay, I got a parallel spawn. They do great in the chaos. For Ultra, that's now 2 back-to-back hard points where you just simply get outclassed in the fundamental aspect. Even in the opportunity where you were blessed with the back spawn on the backside of P3, you still couldn't walk away with a majority of the time there. Optic Texas was just the better team in the HPs, the better team when you talk about the game plan in the search and destroy, and now are looking like probably the top team going into Major 1 with that kind of performance there.
Yeah, I mean, it's clearly the top 2 right now in my mind are Optic and Atlanta. I mean, yeah, that series versus Cloud9 gets a little squirrely, but it is one of those series that, you know, Atlanta's playing around with a little bit of the map pool.
Yep.
Trying to make sure they're good to go. I give them a little bit of leeway, but this is Optic beating down a team that has looked nothing but great so far here in stage 1. Again, the only series they've lost was at Minor 1 in reverse sweep fashion, where Kleenex just was not a factor in the back 3 maps. But here, I mean, look at the stagnation between both P4s. Optic only allowed them to get 23 points, Jay, in 5 hills. What are we talking about?
It's just the Hook the Nuke show. Like every P1 that they got to, and especially the second one that they went to, from that P4 to P1 rotation, where you go from 156 to 186, and Ultra only get 4 seconds there, and that's due to what Hook was just doing, just roaming into your base. It's as simple as that. The rest of Optic Texas were blocking the back spawns to allow Hook to make those kind of plays. And their hardpoint game right now is probably the top in the league. I just think like the only thing that you're really going to focus on if you're Optic Texas, obviously you fall short